So I'm in a current phase in which the coffee that I drink, the bulletproof coffee, the fancy coffee, doesn't really do much for me, including many of the food items that I might buy for myself that at the moment I crave dearly. Mm-hmm. Was going to go to the gym today, but they were not yet open. I'm often in this reality that even on my off days, that I'm up before everybody else. Society is acting at a certain speed, a certain mode of consciousness, and I'm operating at a different speed. Even if I'm drugged up, I'm still operating at a different speed, a different light, a different vibration. And that's what they want to hold down. I never forget that. And it is my light that they hate. And I said that loud enough in order for one administrator there who worked at that place to hear me and to know what I meant. They hate the light. And they are systematically executing the light. They're not allowed to, at present, just straight execute those emitting a great deal of light, but they can tweak things and get inside the mind of people. I often wonder how much they've penetrated into her mind. But they have a way of getting inside the mind of people that we would assume would know better. They are known by different descriptions. And so we see the reality that people that we would hope would know better, in fact, do not know better at all. And it's easy for them to blame rather than understand when a system is marginalizing certain people in the same way that they have marginalized those very same people for years. So it's a time in which the system is looked upon, by the way, the system, the police, as like the rescuers of people. I mean, talk about mentally retarded people that never wake up when they're 65, they're 70, they're 75, living in major cities waiting for the police to help them when who's going to save them from the police walking by when their bodies are on fire. I mean, seriously. We're not dealing with a regular, normal society that is acknowledging its borderline criminal past in the way it has thrown away its own relatives, thrown away good men, thrown away in some cases where you may be able to find them good women. And so society has not been held accountable yet for its actions. It's just been given a pass for a long time from the Creator. A little more rope to hang itself. A little more rope indeed. I've never even known people in my shoes that have been through what I've been through, in either my life or anything else, let alone someone that's involved himself in something that's been described as a truth movement, the very verbiage of which easily comes under attack from mainstream and alternative left pundits alike. The truth movement, the evil, nefarious truth movement, and that even to me, my father's cousin, has also ridiculed and targeted. That acknowledging how his family's bias towards me has led to me being exiled in a world in which I'm often not understood or liked for my ideas. What have they done to offer me family or a tribal structure? What have they done to offer me a mere recipe of any of their work, of any of their foods or anything? I'm on the outskirts. I'm an untouchable. I know there was a point in time where I felt like I was seemingly the craziest person in there because of what they had me on. And then other times, the sanest person in there, the person that needs to be in there the least. But we live in a world where one's reality can't be controlled so tightly to where they lose all control over their senses and over aspects of their behavior when they're pushed over the edge, when they're basically being poisoned and their body is screaming for the poisoning to stop. Society has lost it, and it didn't really wake up at all with COVID. There's really very little compassion. The whole thing is really a joke. The idea of people waking up to Big Pharma with COVID. I see essentially no compassion for my plight. It's 2025, we're just a couple years after the lockdowns, and we're probably basically about ready to go back to new lockdowns. And people think that they're awake if they're not into wearing a mask. That's their definition of being awake. Huh? And let me guess, Donald Trump's going to save them? He said he was pro-vax. I mean, look at how much money he racked up as far as national debt during that whole thing. He went on Candace Owens and defended the vax. I mean, they already have full control over everything and any idea of a truth movement. So, well, to me, my father's cousin is going to make some very important points in his trutherism presentations. It's what he's missing from his equation that you need to be aware of. How people can end up in fringe movements where they consider it to be a 9/11 movement or this truther movement because their family has gotten rid of them. Their family has no place for them. In many ways, my story, which hasn't really been told in full, is a story of going out in the world and having to really create or recreate, if you will, my own value from this trutherism thing, which is the only thing in this life that gave me any value at all. Nothing from my parents, nothing from anybody else, nothing from a woman. It all came from the trutherism, although I didn't define it as that. That's a very in-the-box way of putting something that's very much outside the box. So more on that later.